Finny Coup Law. Okay, so this is a review of the law, and just to kind of scan across what we've discussed. What is elder law, and what does elder law cover? And I want you to be able to name 3 things that elder law covers. I know we discussed real property. We discussed the Bill of Rights. And those rights that are included, those are all elder laws and things that are included in elder law. And elder law also includes power of attorneys, wills, trusts. So make sure you understand elder law. And then we wanted you to be able to quote at least 3 case laws from elder law. And I've given you 2. You're more than welcome. We encourage you to look up any elder laws on your own, but 2 examples of laws that we use that derive from elder law. We want to remember the 3 C's when we talk about elder laws. So community property, common wealth or common law, and then castle law. So castle law has to do with protecting your property, protecting yourself and your family. Community property has to do with interest and rights to the property you share with people you call your family or loved ones. And then we want to acknowledge common law. And common law says that we share interests together, and we might not share the same blood, but we share the same interests, and we have established this for some term or some life term. It has been established that we share this interest, and so therefore property or anything occurred that we are united together. So remember those 3 C's, and those 3 C's are going to go with elder law. So castle law, common wealth, common law, and community property. Then you're going to go over to civil rights and civil rights acts that came after elder law. And these are laws that are outside of the first 10 laws, the Bill of Rights, that are a part of elder law. So, civil right laws. When we think about civil right laws, we are going to talk about a big one, protected classes. When you think of civil rights laws, we want to think about instances in when it occurred. So, for elder law, the law that occurred, that enacted what we now call acts or civil rights under our Constitution. So this Constitution has grown, and it began to grow from the first act. And that act is the Barefoot Boy Act. And you will need to know that act, the Barefoot Boy Act. That is an elder law was enacted that requested public funds, and that is the birth of our administration to then take care of the general public with public funds. So that is the Barefoot Boy Act, and you'll need to know where it comes from and what rights came with that act. And then we're going to move over to the Civil Rights. And the Civil Rights Act that we want you to know and understand is Brown versus the Board of Education. And that happened before the Civil Rights, 1964. So the 1964 Civil Rights Act in the 1965 Civil Rights Act that we're including in these protected laws of disabilities, and they went and amended it in 1988 and included familial status and other statuses and other protected classes. So today we have 21 protected classes. You'll need to identify 3 of those protected classes and what rights come with each that you identify. So, Brown versus the Board of Education. That is the Civil Rights Act that you will need to know. You'll need to understand what protected classes are. You'll need to understand what is the difference between elder law, in a nutshell, and what is the difference between civil rights law and the Civil Rights Act, and why are they different. We briefly went over areas of law and professions of law and associations of law. And so we're going to skim across it one more time. The initial association of a law or certification of someone who practices or studies the law would be 1, real estate practices, or a paralegal. That is the first association. The second association would be the next level, studying law. You could call yourself a lawyer. A lawyer is someone who has now practiced and passed the bar exam. So a paralegal person is someone who acts as a clerk, who can fill out legal documents and forms, and they have not passed the law exam. A lawyer is someone who has passed the law exam and can also fill out legal documents and is allowed to argue the law of which he studied or she has studied. This is a lawyer. And a lawyer, when you call a lawyer, you will need a lawyer that studies the law you need them to argue in. But the next level of a lawyer would be an attorney. And an attorney is an attorney at law. And that means that an attorney has studied various areas of law and can argue different areas of law. Example. A lawyer runs an ad and tells you that they are a personal injury lawyer. You and your spouse are getting a divorce. You do not call the personal injury lawyer because they did not study under the law that you need legal representation for. An attorney is an attorney at law, and that means they have studied various areas and they are able to argue various areas. So, it is inappropriate counsel to represent someone as a lawyer and you have not studied their argument or their area that you need them to argue. So an attorney at law, again, is different from a lawyer because it is the next level. It is a lawyer saying, I would like to study various areas of the law, and then they go up to the next level of attorney. Both an attorney and a lawyer must pass the bar examination to argue law. Then you have the highest level of studying the law, which is a jurist. Some judges are jurist. Why? Because a judge has to hear all kinds of arguments. So again, they are seasoned and they've studied all kinds of areas of the law. It is not to say that the lawyer who studied their specific field is not an expertise and cannot argue their specific field. But it is to say that each profession of the law is different and they are able to do different things. Whether you study elder law or whether you study civil law, these levels of professionalism are required to represent and argue on your client's behalf. So these things will be on the test for review. Do keep in mind that we will be given the whole class time to complete the entire review of the final exam and to complete the exam. So again, it is a 50 question exam.